prices. There is an important OPEC meeting. Manisha is here with the details and the update. Manisha, hi.
Thank you so much for that. Well, the meeting was yesterday as well, but the OPEC and allies did not end up coming to a result. That is because they're not on the same page on this, and is the reason that the meeting is now slated to happen today. Well, it is like countries like Russia and Kazakhstan, which are supporting higher output. Remember, 500,000 barrels has been increased already from the 1st of Jan. So this meeting will basically tell you on how much increase in production is expected from Feb onwards. We already have seen that the crude prices, with the stability that we have seen, the US shale output also has started to increase. Last year, same time, the rig count was at around 840 rigs. This year has started with nearly 410. We did see a low of around 270 as well. So from those kind of levels, there has been an increase in the shale output also. The markets in the meanwhile also are looking at restrictions yet again in various countries, in UK, Germany, Europe and in US as well. And that is what really seems to be bothering. The markets had factored in that when the vaccine rollout happens, you will see a very steady demand recovery and the crude prices will continue to gain up. But that clearly is not happening, and that is continuing to weigh onto the prices. So last night we did see 2% of a decline, and there is a bit of a pressure that the markets are seeing right now as well. You also are looking at increase in production from Libya, so that is what the OPEC and allies will also want to watch out for. And then the markets also are looking at the runoff elections in Georgia. The US dollar moves also seem to be impacting, and the markets believe that $50 as a level, if that breaches yet again, then you are going in for some considerable profit taking.
Okay, all right. Thanks very much for giving us those updates, Manisha. So that's the latest on the oil market. But right now we're going to come back to some conversations here and focus on the banking sector. We have Murli Ramakrishnan, MD and CEO of South Indian Bank, joining in now to talk about how trends are shaping up as we step into the new calendar year. Thank you very much, Mr. Ramakrishnan, for being with us. And first of all, wish you a very, very happy 2021. So,
thank you.
Thank you. So, sir, tell us, I think everybody's been, waiting to understand if some of these credit issues, credit costs, credit quality, asset quality, whether they have been contained and whether now in this calendar year, we can finally start looking at the growth of the book. Your opening thoughts.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is apt. Actually, I think the whole economy is looking at the post-COVID situation of how the book is going to behave in the subsequent 2 quarters. In fact, if you just go back, September results when it came out, it was just 1 month after the lockdown got lifted. So this is the first quarter when all the banks probably would have really hard look at their book and would have intensified their collection efforts, etc. So it's quite an interesting phase to watch out how banks have responded to the post-COVID collection scenario of their respective book. But having said that, I think we need to look at forward and looking at the way that economy is actually poised to grow in the 4th quarter as well as the coming year, with all the indicators now saying that things are really looking better than what we had originally anticipated. I think the banks will have to look forward to the coming year with a lot more optimism. And therefore, we from South Indian Bank are charting out our plans so that we can really take off whatever strategies we are charting out for not only for this year, for the next 3 years. So as an important step, we have worked on our strategy, and so we are pretty excited about carrying out this in the coming year as well as in the subsequent years which will follow this.
Yes, absolutely, sir. In fact, our viewers can see your Vision 2024 strategy, which is on the screen, loan book to hit the 1 lakh crore mark, NIMs to be over 3.5%. I just want to understand how much ground will you be able to cover in 2021 itself? What could your loan book look like? Where would your NIMs be as you see it now by the end of this year?
Yeah, we actually, how we have, just to look, going back, how we have actually charted this plan is, for the year 21-22, which is starting from, let's say, April 1, 21 to March 31st, 22, we have not assumed too much of growth, because we also believe that post-COVID, we need to clearly wait and watch how the economy will shape up. While we are assuming that the economy will definitely be bouncing back, and therefore the way the growth has been structured is also that it will be little less in the year 1, and then we once we put our strategies well grounded in the regions and branches, I am sure the assimilation of the change process which we are envisaging will be very well grounded in the year one. And with that, we will leverage on the subsequent years for taking it forward from then. Just to give you some sense, in NIM, we are looking at in the range of 2.78, 2.8% by March, which we expect it to go up to 3.24% by 22. I mean, these are all estimates. This is based on the rollout which we are planning to do on the retail asset side, where we are relaunching some of the retail products which we already have, and we will also be launching a few more retail products, which will have a definitely a better margin than the products which we currently have in the market. So with the composition of those products and with our focus on SME, MSME, and Agri, we believe that we will be able to take up the NIM to the level which I'm envisaging, maybe at around 3.2% for the year ended March 22. As far as the book is concerned, we are expecting the year to be flat at about 65,000 crores, estimated at about 65,000 crores for March 21st, which we are probably will be estimating to grow up by about, let's say, another 10,000 crores by next year, March 22. And then, as I said, the years following that, we are expecting a lot more traction to happen, because by then the transformation also would be complete and people would be, the employee base as well as our channel partners, etc., would be completely familiar with the way we are planning to ramp up. So we have projected that the book will grow a lot more in the subsequent years of March 23 and March 24. So we expect the book to grow something like 86,000 crores by March 23rd and about 1 lakh plus crores by March 24.
Sure. So more back-ended in your vision statement. Growth will start coming in 22-23. Yeah. So just very quickly, sir, since we're a little short on time, I believe you're also looking to raise capital, about 1,200 crores, 1,250 crores. When will that happen? Current financial year, Q4, or are you looking at the next year?
No, as far as capital is concerned, what we are envisaging with the first tranche is to basically beef up the capital. And the second phase of the first tranche will be for exploiting the market opportunity. So we have got approval for 750 crores. As I said earlier, we'll be looking at the first tranche of maybe 200, 250 to 300 crores, 200 to 300 crores kind of range, which we are wanting to get it done by March end, but we will see how it goes. And then subsequent phase will be for exploiting the opportunity for growth. That's the way we are looking at it.
Mr. Ramakrishnan, pleasure having you here with us on the show. Thank you very much for joining in, and all the best. That's South Indian Bank for you on the capital raising as well as their Vision 2024 and how they plan to achieve it. We'll slip into a very short break on that note. On the other side, market technicals lined up with Mitesh Thakkar. Stay tuned.